All right. Welcome to the Pitchfork podcast, guys, for May 26, 2021. If you guys like the screen, hit like button, hit share button. Make sure you let people know that are in the stream. We're going to get into the show today, but we got to call off some new subscribers. We have new subscribers to the channel, guys. I want you welcome into the channel. Kevin Doyle, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the Double Advocate channel. A few more here. All right. Thomas Schaller, welcome to the channel. Have a little bit of sip of my drink here. Roadhog Kennel. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Roadhog Kennel. All right, so we're going to get right into the show. We're going to cover some corrective files and also some bad cop, no donut. Guys, welcome to the show. Pleasure being back. Had to take a few days just to kind of handle some community policing issues, I would say. But I'm back and I'm going to have some fun. So we're going to get right into the show. Actually, before that, we're going to be doing some various few things we're going to be covering today in terms of stories. Now, I try to keep some of the stories concise and short, but if you want more longer form videos, guys, let me know. I can do that. But there's going to be some interesting videos that we're gonna claim we're gonna look at and some of these videos I wouldn't say videos, some of these stories are gonna be exceptional. They're gonna be awfully exceptional, and I want to cover these stories because these stories were special. We're going to cover some bad cop, no donut. We're going to get into some bad cop, no donut. This is going to be I'm going over the headline, and I can't believe that I missed the story. So let's get into this. This is going to be a wild one. All right, so we got another bad cop, no donut. This is going to be from the state newspaper, from Columbia, South Carolina, from the state newspaper. Columbia police thought he was a gallery intruder. He was a resident artist. So basically, this man was accosted by police because he was being an artist. And that was quite an incredible headline when I read it. But I'm from South Carolina. I spent most of my time while I was in the state in Columbia. So, you know, I very much understand the police there. They are quite exceptional. Let's get into the story here. John Sims thought neo-Nazis were about to kill him early Monday morning. Mind you, this was published on May 21st. In the gallery adjacent to his loft apartment at 701 Center for Contemporary Arts on Whaley Street. In the gallery adjacent to his loft apartment at 701 Center for Contemporary Arts on Whaley Street, he created art that put Confederate flags in nooses and reimagined the flag with lace and silky cloth and pink hearts in place of the stars. He thought his art might have caused a visceral reaction that was about to get him murdered, he said. A gun was pointed at him and a person was yelling at him. When he saw the badges, he still wasn't sure they weren't white supremacists. He thought the people saying they were Columbia police officers might have been imposters. So he made this art to basically mock the flag or just to reimagine it, basically take the symbol of hate and turn it into something different. He's not one of those type of guys, right? Like one of those right-leaning guys. He's very much a left-leaning guy, but he was basically taking the symbol of hate and trying to reimagine it, basically, where he put pink hearts in the place of freaking stars, or he made silk and lace and silky cloth, and he put the Confederate flag in a noose, which is very symbolic. And he's the actual artist that was doing this, and the police thought he was the freaking intruder. It is amazing. It is amazing. If it's the Klan, I'm not about to have some wine and cheese and a discussion, Sims said at a Tuesday talk about his art and the experience with Columbia Police Department, moderated by Dr. Bobby Donaldson, a civil rights historian at USC. It's an experience that Sims said the nation has seen end with innocent black men dead. I mean, seriously, this guy was being accosted by police officers for no reason. For absolutely no reason. And this demonstrates that had those officers been a part of the local community, they might have known this guy was an artist. They might have known that this was his actual exhibit. Because I gotta ask the question. I know who this guy is. I spent most of my life in South Carolina. I've actually heard of this man. I know myself. He's an artist. He's known for this stuff. You could have simply Googled him. You could have simply asked around. I mean, but the thing is that they approached him with guns drawn. Guns drawn if he was an intruder. Even if he were intruding to somewhere or you suspect him of that, he's still innocent until proven guilty. Why do you approach him immediately with guns drawn when you have tasers? There are no reports saying that he had a gun on him. Because I know in South Carolina, you have to have a concealed carry permit. Open carry wasn't, it's going to be legalized, but it's not legalized yet, I don't think. At least when I was there, it wasn't legalized, and I know the bill is being pushed through like right now. So if he did have a gun on him, they would have reason to arrest him and hold him, but they let him go. There was no reason to even arrest this man or put him in handcuffs or have guns drawn at him. But it's just so weird how this turned out. So let's get into what the police are saying here. The Columbia Police Department says its officers were investigating a potential break-in at the center. The officers acted almost perfectly with one exception, the department said. On Thursday, the department released the body camera footage of the incident. At about 2 a.m. on May 17th, a Columbia police officer noticed a door was open at the 701 Center, which is also a popular event space, according to a police report. The officer called dispatch and said he was going to search the place for a possible intruder or to see if anyone was in trouble, a police report said. Two backup officers arrived, and the officers entered the building with guns drawn following their training. It's proper protocol for officers to have their guns out when they search a building for a possible crime, a department spokesperson said in a statement, which is so stupid. If that's your protocol for your department, again, that's not uniform, right? I can't imagine that's uniform. That sounds insane. But if that's your protocol, good God, that there is no reason. There is no reason for that. But then again, it's also not shocking that I've had so many experiences with the city of Columbia, with the city of Columbia cops myself. That would explain their paranoia and their itchy trigger fingers. You know, I noticed this throughout my entire life, and I spent most of my life in Columbia. So I know how the cops are there. I know for a fact how the cops are there. And if that's your training, if those are your standards, then it doesn't shock me. That you would get situations just like this. Sims had seen what looked like flashlights shining into his loft apartment. That's when he started to believe white supremacists might be after him for his art, he said. Sims had been staying at the 701 Center as the artist in residence since early May. So he'd been there for almost a month during this time. I mean, he'd been there, for more than 2 weeks. So there's no way these officers were regularly patrolling this area. If the man's been living, if he's been living at the 701 Center, and I've been there, I know where their place is. So if he's been there for over 2 weeks, and you have been on patrol for at least that amount of time, there is no way in the world someone could be living right at a place, and you have no idea that person was damn there. Come on now. Since early May, he went into the loft's bathroom to try to call the police, but had no cell phone signal. So he was trying to call the police on the police because he had no idea it was the damn police that had essentially broke into his damn apartment. Because again, essentially that's what happened here. They had no reason to even be there. He lives there. He has every right to leave any door open that he wants. It is their responsibility to know who's in there. If they've been there for over a damn 2 weeks and you are cops, holy shit. So again, this demonstrates they had no idea what was going on in their own damn neighborhood. No idea. No idea. The officers entered the apartment, and Sims eventually came out of the loft bathroom. With his first glimpse of the officers, he saw the guns drawn on him. The officers yelled for him to put his hands up, but didn't do it at first. Still thinking the men with badges and guns might be white supremacists in disguise. Again, all he knows is that people have entered into his place for no reason. He knows he's done nothing wrong. He's tried to call the police. There is no signal. So again, when things like that start happening, you start going through all kind of like horror movie type of scenarios. Again, people panic, which is understandable. He's not expecting this. He's not seeing this coming. The man's not a freaking Rainbow Six Siege operator. He's a fucking artist. He's not trained for this shit. So again, he's being surprised by this. And it makes sense that he would react this way. The officers shouted more commands at Sims. Sims wanted the officers to give more identification than simply saying that they were police. Sims put his hands up as officers commanded. An officer went up the loft stairs to detain Sims. That's when the armed officer holstered his gun, according to reports. The officer pulled Sims' arms behind him to cuff him, the police report said. Sims explains he was the artist in residence, he said. It kept him in what police call investigative detention for about 8 minutes while they checked his identification and ran it through a wanted criminal database. Officers saw clothes and bedding in the loft, a report said. Those items, along with the database clearing Sims, prompted police to uncuff Sims, who was shaken but not physically hurt. Even though he escaped relatively unharmed, Sims questioned whether the police would have put a white woman in handcuffs. Would she have been treated the same, he wondered. He had other concerns about the incident. He was immediately treated like an intruder without any other considerations, and detaining him wasn't necessary, he said. Again, it wasn't. Again, he could have been anyone. He could have been a goddamn janitor. He could have owned the place. How do you know? You go in there with guns drawn with somebody who might have owned the place. Again, if you don't know that someone's been there for over 2 weeks since the beginning of goddamn May, this article is dated May 21st, meaning he's been there for at least 2 weeks, right? At least 2 weeks minimum, right? So if that's the case, explain to me, how is it possible? One, they didn't know who he was. And then two, how is it that they immediately go with their guns drawn when he could have been the guy who owns the place if you didn't even know who the fuck lives there? You see the problems here? Do you see why he went to race, given the nature of the type of art that he actually does? He mocks white supremacists. That's why he feared white supremacists were coming for him. It makes sense. And holy shit, I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Sims. I think white supremacists did come for you. It's just that we so casually call them police officers. Because I find it very, very suspicious that they would just look for a criminal background on him. That he happened to be the one. They were looking for something. They were looking for a reason to harass this man because of the kind of art that he does. Because I know for a fact that some of the City of Columbia and Richland County Sheriff's Department and all over South Carolina, there are plenty of white supremacists. That's South Carolina, baby. Please, spare me. I've seen the marches. If you just go to YouTube, you just Google KKK March, South Carolina, you will see all the freaking results year after year after year after year. And the only reason why they weren't doing the marches at the freaking state capitol on this year is because of COVID. That's the only reason why. You mean tell me not one of those people, all those thousands of people you see marching, not one of them is a goddamn cop? Okay. If that's what you think, you have way more faith than me, my friend. Way more faith than me. I think I'm better live. Wouldn't you agree? Anyway, Diesel Bomber, welcome to the chat. I salute you. All right, let's see what your comment here is. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't see a problem with that man's art. If people can burn the American flag, then what's the problem with putting the Virginia battle flag in the news? Yeah, I agree. I have no problem with it whatsoever. Way I see it, man. Way I see it, art is art. And he was doing it to mock it, you know? And that's why I do appreciate it. Basically, you're trying to choke the Confederate flag. Now, this next story is going to be very exceptional. This next story is going to be very exceptional. Get ready for this one. It's another bad cop, no donut, man. Oh man, this is some next level shit right here. This is some next level shit, right? Listen, I've seen some level shit. This is some over 9,000 next level shit right here, man. I would be hot. I'd be pretty fucking hot, boy. Woo! Oh man. All right, so we got another bad cop, no donut. Now, we've seen police officers do some weird stuff, but this is a new level. This is a new low. This comes from KRQE. Police mistook ashes of man's 2-year-old daughter for drugs, lawsuit claims. It's a picture of the man saying, please give me my daughter, bro. Oh my gosh. This story is heartbreaking. This story is unbelievable. 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 Next star. No, bro. That's my daughter. Those were the words of Dartavius. Those were the words of Dartavius Barnes, captured by Springfield, Illinois police body cam after officers allegedly mistook the ashes of his 2-year-old daughter for drugs. Barnes is now suing the department over the April 6, 2020 traffic stop. That's unbelievable. Wow. Video obtained by WICS first shows Barnes handcuffed sitting in the back of the squad car, give officers permission to process the vehicle. And there's just no excuse for this, man. There's no excuse for this. This is unbelievable. I mean, could you imagine? This man's already going through the trauma of losing his daughter. His 2-year-old daughter, and it was, her ashes were obviously very important to him, man. And you do this because you thought it was damn drug. Come on. I mean, you couldn't consider any other possibility? This was in the center console, says one officer after searching the car, unscrewing a cylinder and showing it to another officer. At first, I thought it was heroin, and I checked for cocaine, but it looks like it's probably Molly. X-pills, another officer asked. X-pills. They thought it was everything but ashes. People, it is a very common thing in the United States to ride around with ashes in your car, especially of a loved one that you lost. And especially if you are a parent and you've had to go through the heartache and the grief of losing a child. I would imagine many parents would probably carry around the ashes, because that's probably the most hurtful thing I could imagine ever happening to a person, losing a child. That's got to hurt you in a way that you can't describe. And these officers just they go and they do this. It's just unbelievable. The powder inside the metallic container wasn't drugs at all. It was the cremated remains of Barnes' daughter, Tanaja, according to the lawsuit. The toddler died in February 2019 after the police found her. The toddler died in February 2019 after the police found her unresponsive, wrapped in a urine-soaked blanket, according to WICS. She had been neglected and starved in the days leading up to her death, authorities said. The girl's mother, Tawanka Davis, and her mother's boyfriend were found guilty of her murder and were both sentenced to decades in prison. So this man, the father, the girl's biological father, who wasn't around, he was carrying around her ashes because the girl's mother and the mother's boyfriend neglected the 2-year-old girl, and the girl died. And this father, who lost his 2-year-old daughter, had her cremated. And given the circumstances of how that girl died, and given how this man was treated, given how someone else was touching the ashes of the 2-year-old daughter that he lost while being in handcuffs in the backseat of a police car. I mean, I couldn't imagine the emotional wounds that were reopened there, man. And mind you, this was the top, again, that baby died in February of 2019. So these wounds are fresh, man. Like, could you imagine the mental wounds that they just reopened? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The lawsuit claims that officers opened Tanaja's ashes without consent and then spilled them out during the search, according to WRSP. So they spilled out this man's, oh my gosh. Could you imagine the anger that's going through this man's mind right now, man? The hurt. You already lost your daughter because of what the mother did. The mother and her boyfriend who was sent to prison for what they did. And you had nothing to do with it. You weren't there to protect your daughter. And that's because the mother had your daughter. So you had the daughter's ashes, man. And they spilled it out. God, that is unbelievable. A body cam video captured the moment police told Barnes they were going to arrest him for drug possession and showed the cylinder that they found in the center console. Give me that, bro. That's my daughter, Barnes pleads. Wow. He's unbelievable. He also says here, please give me my daughter, bro. Put her in my hand, bro. Y'all are disrespectful, bro. The officers, who said they also found marijuana in the car, discussed what Barnes told them, and ultimately one says, I'm just going to give him a notice to appear on the weed. Another says, aside from pissed off dad and testing the dead baby ashes. So they're sitting there mocking this rat in front of him. I'm going to repeat this. Unbelievable. Aside from pissed off dad and testing the dead baby ashes. Oh my gosh. And you said that where he could hear that? Unbelievable. Barnes is now suing the city of Springfield and several Springfield police officers. A jury trial is set for August of 2022. I hope he takes them for everything they got. I hope he takes them for everything they fucking got. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. That's some hurtful shit, man. That's some disrespectful shit. Like, bro, that's some. I'm sorry. Somebody gonna have to get hurt over that shit, bro. Like, if that's me. Oh no, you got to get hurt over this shit, bro. No. Fuck that. Fuck that. This is wow. This is some next level shit, man. That's some next level disrespect, bro. Like there are levels to disrespect. This shit, this goes beyond like anything that I've seen in a while, bro. The levels of fucking disrespect. Wow. Holy shit. Whew. The levels of disrespect, bro. Whoo. Oh, you got to get hurt over this shit. That's me, bro. I'm sorry. These bombers said, that's all the way fucked up. I personally have my daughter's ashes in a tattoo on my chest. Those cops can just go ahead and die. Yeah, yes, losing your child is a pain. That is something that cannot be explained in words alone. I barely lived through it. Sorry, man. Only thing that kept me alive was having to be there for my woman. If that happened to me, I would have killed them with only my hands. I feel you, man. God damn, that the levels of disrespect right there, bro. Like, if someone says that, right, I would immediately just pause. I would pause. I would look for media articles. I'd be like, okay, so what was your daughter's name? I would try to look it up because the media articles would have fucking told you about that right there. That lets you know they did no background research on this man. They didn't even Google this man. If you did any amount of investigating, once he told you who he was, and once he told you that's my daughter's ashes, that should have at least made the officers go, okay, well, his daughter died. He might have killed her. So let's go check to see who this man's daughter is. And through that looking, they would have found out, oh, no, he didn't kill the daughter. The mother did. So they would have found out that was just his daughter's ashes. Oh, my God. How do you fuck that up, bro? How do you fuck that up? How do you... Tell me, how do you fuck that up? Damn. Damn, boy. That's fucked up. That's just fucked up. Let me get to another story here. This is going to be a wild story. This next one. This one's going to be a doozy. Oh, my God. When I say that, that's how you know it's going to be a doozy, baby. In fact, before we get into this story, I'm going to just show you the headline. This is going to be a wild story. Give me a quick moment. All right, this is I need a moment for that story right there. I need a moment to process that. This is gonna get awfully whew. We gonna get into the story. This I'm in love with this story. I'm in love with this story. This story here is just special. Let's get into it. All right, so this is gonna be another bad cop, no donut. And actually, we're gonna have to take testimonies from police officers against police officers. So it's gonna be an extra special story from CNN. Texas female deputies in human trafficking task force accuse superiors of sexual exploitation and abuse. So, basically, we have cop versus cop. Basically another case of even the police saying fuck the police, ACAB baby. So we're gonna get into this story, and I don't mean to laugh at this story, but it's just like when you see something like that, it's just so ridiculous that you are having law enforcement officers who are getting gradually more ridiculous as time just goes on. They're just getting more and more ridiculous. And again, these are the deputies here, the female deputies who are coming forward with these stories, and you know. I want to hear them out because this story obviously sounds very, very fascinating, and I want to know more. Houston, CNN. 3 former and current Harris County deputy constables alleged they were being sexually exploited, molested, and harassed by their superiors while assigned to a human trafficking task force, according to a federal civil lawsuit filed Monday. The female officers, Liz Gomez, Marissa Sanchez, and Felicia McKinney, claimed they were rookie deputies when they were handpicked for undercover operations. Molested and traumatized by their intoxicated male commanders for their own sexual gratification, the lawsuit says. Now, as you might imagine, when you hear something like that, that is quite exceptional. And it sounds very, very reminiscent of, you know, the good old boys club that you see so often in law enforcement. You know, much of the toxic male behavior that many women talk about, it isn't even the average male that exhibits it. You know, it's some of these people in positions of power, such as law enforcement. When you have a badge and a gun, and you happen to be a narcissist and a bad person and an abuser, well, then that makes women very, very easy prey for you because you have power, you have authority. And if you tell them to do something and then they don't do it, well, just like Breonna Taylor and so many others, well, Breonna Taylor didn't even do anything at all, really. They could be shot down. So again, when you give abusers like this such power, you cannot be surprised when things like this happens. But let's move on here. When the deputies reported the abuse to supervisors, the lawsuit alleges they were ridiculed, retaliated against, and reassigned to less prestigious duties. Jacqueline Alito, a human trafficking advocate and the 4th plaintiff in the case, says she reported the alleged abuse too and was subsequently transferred out of the human trafficking task force. So again, it's not just female officers. Again, these are officers coming forward, not just female officers. Even the civilians who are supposed to work with that unit, that particular task force, even they're saying it. 4 different people saying the same thing. Don't you find that interesting? That all the stories seem to be aligning? A lawsuit was filed against Harris County Precinct 1. The lawsuit was filed against Harris County Precinct 1 Constable Alan Rosen, Assistant Chief Chris Gore, and Lieutenant Shane Rigdon, along with Harris County. So again, they are naming the witches right there. So let's go ahead and repeat those names real quick. The lawsuit was filed against Harris County Precinct 1 Constable Alan Rosen, Assistant Chief Chris Gore, and Lieutenant Shane Rigdon, along with Harris County. So again, remember those names. Remember those names. Even again, they are innocent until proven guilty. Not saying that I'm just assuming that they are guilty, but you know. Remember those names though. Etch them into your memory, baby, because I want to see the outcome of this case. I want to see the outcome of this lawsuit. But let's move on here. In a statement, Rosen said an internal investigation has been conducted, and its officer's administrative disciplinary committee found no violations of law or policy. We immediately transferred leadership of the human trafficking unit to another supervisor who still maintains oversight of that unit today, Rosen said. Rosen was first elected constable of Precinct 1 in 2012. During his first year in office, he created the Human Trafficking Task Force, according to his official. During his first year in office, he created the Human Trafficking Task Force, according to his official biography posted to on his office's website. Field operations for the unit are managed by Gore and Rigdon, according to the lawsuit. None of the defendants in the federal lawsuit have been charged with the crime. Rigdon did not respond to CNN's request for comment. CNN attempted to reach out to them. CNN attempted to reach out to Gore, but had also no comment there. So again, I want to see what this lawsuit is saying. I want to hear some of the specific allegations here. Lawsuit. Female deputies had to pose as prostitutes at bachelor party stings. According to the lawsuit, Gore set up bachelor party stings at hotel rooms that had male undercover deputies pose as Johns and female undercover deputies pose as prostitutes. Gore selected the female deputies based on his personal taste in women, young, attractive, and Latina, per the lawsuit. So again, that is quite exceptional. That is one hell of a way to project your likeness onto the job, baby. That's wow. But again, it does sound right in line with the good old boys club. You've had many female officers come forward, and complain about this type of behavior. Like for example, I remember I was doing a story. I actually it was a mini doc that I did about police gangs, and I was mostly talking about the LA Sheriff's Department, and there was a bunch of female deputies who were coming forward saying that they were being sexually harassed by these police gangs who were trying to coerce them into like sex and stuff. And they would leave like dead rats by their cars for like telling and stuff. And again, basically bullying them. So it's not just one state that you're seeing this. You're seeing this all over the place. And while I do say ACAB a lot, I do say fuck 12, fuck the police, and I still feel that way. I do feel some degree of sympathy for females who are harassed on the job. I don't agree with that, even if it is police officers. And I've heard so many stories like this where you've had, female officers who will be sexually harassed or even sexually assaulted by their own coworkers. Unbelievable. The lawsuit says Gomez was selected for the undercover operations in 2019 and was instructed to purchase new and revealing clothing for the operations and then send Gore, her superior, a text message with photos of the outfits. That's not slutty enough, Gore responded via text message while instructing that more provocative clothing can be purchased according to the lawsuit. So you want these girls to these female deputies to degrade themselves, right? And then while they're degrading themselves, they are officers of the damn law. While they are degrading themselves in freaking ways that's already going to earn you a damn lawsuit, you then ask them to become more slutty. Again, not my words, his words. He said it, quote, "That's not slutty enough," end quote. He said it, not me. He said it. All right? I report. You decide. Oh, my God. My man, listen. That is quite exceptional. That is quite exceptional. Gomez was also ordered to accompany Gore to an adult sex shop to buy various items, all paid for with county dollars, the lawsuit alleges. So with taxpayer dollars, You went to an adult sex shop, and brought items from an adult sex shop with taxpayer funds. That's listen, I I have my limits, right? That is I would imagine that's a violation of some kind of law. And I mean, wouldn't you imagine that that'd be a violation of some kind of law? It's like I would imagine that somewhere it is written, "Thou shalt not buy dildos with taxpayer funds." You know, I would imagine that somewhere out there in the rainbow, right? It is written that butt plugs should not be put on your government, card. Some might say that you getting a blowjob from the hooker that you found in the sex shop should not have her gasoline reimbursed if you use her car. I have to imagine at some point this violates something. This has to violate something. This is amazing. Okay? The alcohol for this theme parties was also purchased on the county dime per the lawsuit, and it quickly turned into booze-fueled playground for sexual exploitation. According to the lawsuit, Rosa attended at least one of these parties personally. Wow. So they were having bachelor types of theme parties and doing some things that were less than savory there. And it's just unbelievable. And I am very curious to see the results of this lawsuit. I want to see what happens here, and I wish these young ladies the best of luck. I mean, thank you for coming forward, because I want to see accountability. I want to see people in power, and call me sexist, but especially men in power who abuse women like this, especially their fucking co-workers. I want to see them be held accountable. And if nothing else, I would love to see these young ladies become very, very rich. Because if they had to be humiliated on a taxpayer dime, having to wear sexualized clothing, humiliating. They are officers of the goddamn law. I mean, holy shit. Even if you don't like cops, right? And I certainly don't. Don't get it twisted, baby. Oh my God, I fucking hate them. But even if you fucking hate them, you must understand that it is not right to abuse people like this just because they're women and just because you can. Again, call me sexist, but I don't believe men should ever abuse women that way. It makes me sick to my damn stomach. These Mama says, I don't see how that is supposed to crack down on trafficking. Sounds more like a John thing to me. Yeah, I don't know either. Or an excuse to have them dressed up in costumes, have pictures and stuff. Unbelievable. All right. So we have some more stories to cover. we got one story to cover that's gonna be a little bit sick, man. I hate covering these kind of stories, but gotta do it. We got some sick puppies out here. We got some sick puppies out here. All right, we got another bad cop, no donut for you. This is coming from KMBC 9 ABC. Former school resource officer in Kansas City, Kansas, gets life in prison for child sex crimes. Man, I've been covering a lot of stories like this where you have police officers who abuse children. And once again, another story like this. Mark Skeets, 32 of Norton, was sentenced Tuesday in Norton County District Court. So again, another story like this, and I'm getting creeped out at the amount of officers that I'm finding who are doing things like this. If you just look. Originally published by the Associated Press. Norton, Kansas, Associated Press. A former school resource officer in Kansas City, Kansas, has been sentenced to life in prison for repeatedly raping and abusing a child younger than 14. Oh my God. That is disgusting. Oh, I really hate covering stories like this, but we got to move on. Mark Skeets, 32 of Norton, was sentenced Tuesday in Norton County District Court, the Kansas Attorney General's office said in a news release. That is so disgusting. Mark Skeets, 32 of Norton, was sentenced Tuesday in North County District Court, the Kansas Attorney General's office said in a news release. In April, a jury found him guilty of 2 counts of aggravated criminal sodomy of a child younger than 14, 2 counts of rape, sexual exploitation of a child, and intimidating a witness. Wow. Gosh, that is so disgusting. The conviction came 2 years after he was arrested by the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, which said he had engaged in sex acts with a minor, sent lewd photos to minors, and used electronic devices to solicit sex with minors from 2013 through 2015. Skeets was sentenced under Jessica's law, which calls for harsh sentences for people convicted of sex crimes involving younger children. He must serve 50 years before he's eligible for parole, and I'm glad for it. He's going to spend 50 years behind bars. He deserves it. He deserves it. When the charges were filed in April of 2019, Skeets was working with the Kansas School District. He was placed on administrative leave pending the results of the investigation. The school district has its own police department. Before coming there, Skeets worked for the Sheridan County Sheriff's Office from 2016 to 2018. Again, I am so glad to see that this guy is going behind bars for the rest of his life. He had to serve 50 years. He will be 82 years old before he's eligible for parole. He's never getting out. He will rot in prison. And for repeatedly raping a child younger than 14, do you understand how sick you got to be to do that as an officer of the law? Not just as a fucking officer, but as a grown man. I mean, there are levels, folks. And I'm a victim of these kind of people. So I struggled to get through this video. You know, I did. I won't lie to you. I'm being honest. But this is disgusting on levels that I could not begin to explain to you. Like, a child younger than 14. Wow. I heard about the story. Damn. All right, I'm about to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Holy smokes. All right, I'm back. To go get some encouragement, I would say. And one thing about me is I'm very open and honest about myself. So, it is what it is about me. But we're going to move on with the show. The show must carry on, man. That's just, wow, that story was extra fucked up, man. Wow, that story was fucked. If you don't know what I'm talking about, man, we went on the stream a little bit. You see what I mean? I don't want to go back over that, man. That was, that was extra crazy, man. That was extra crazy, man. That was extra crazy. My dog's sitting over here barking, and come here, boy. Azul, come here. Azuli, come here, Azul. Come here. Come here. I'm trying to get my dog to come to me. He's acting weird. Come here, Azul. You want to hop on camera? Come here. Azul, come here. You got to get off the couch. You got to stop being fat for a second. He won't get off the couch. Well, if you want to come over, he's over here whining like he's lonely. Oh my gosh! Now he wants to talk the bone everywhere. Come here. He jumped back on the couch. Okay, well then you can lay down over there. So, anyways, we're gonna continue with the show. The show must go on. All right. Here is. Here is another story that I've been following, that I've been very interested in. This comes out of New Mexico. Now I haven't really covered a whole lot of New Mexico news. So with Bad Cop No Donuts, let me go ahead and cover this one here. All right, so we got another Bad Cop No Donut here for you. This is coming out of New Mexico, and I would love to cover more New Mexico news because New Mexico is a very, very peculiar state. This comes from QRQE. New Mexico police officer involved in use of force incident fired from last job for lying. So again, this is a very, 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 very consistent pattern with Bad Cop No Donut. You would have a police officer who will be involved in an incident, and then you find out that they have a pattern of doing other things and pulling other shenanigans and being general scumbags elsewhere. And it leads one to wonder, where are the hiring practices? I mean, not the standards in terms of physical standards, in terms of firearm safety, in terms of just being just being a general good police officer in terms of technical skills. I mean moral character. Because again, they enforce laws such as moral laws like weed laws and laws about decency in public. They want to enforce these moral laws that don't really have a victim that's involved. And if there's no victim, there's no crime. But then they don't want to be held to the same moral standards for hiring practices. And I find it to be very, very strange and peculiar, don't you? It's a very, very strange thing. Very strange thing. Bernalillo, okay. 3 Bernalillo police officers are off the force after an alleged excessive force incident. The mayor of Bernalillo confirms that officers Gabriel Waters, Adelia Lopez Escobar, and Anthony Jaramillo were involved in an incident that they've asked state police to investigate. Once again, I'm gonna say something. Y'all got some hell of a names here, man. Hell of a names. But let's get back into this story here. By the way, I can do a live edit where I can edit it out here. So again, I want to learn more about this. Let's hear more about what happened here. I want to hear what happened here.
The mayor says he cannot say any more because of involved in an incident that officers are off the force after an alleged excessive force incident. The mayor confirms to News 13 that officers Gabriel Waters, Adelita Lopez Esquivel, and Anthony Jaramillo were involved in an incident that they've now asked state police to investigate. The mayor says he cannot say any more because of the ongoing investigation, which state police say started earlier this month. Now, state police is not commenting any further either. But we were able to confirm that Anthony Jaramillo, who was hired in June of 2019, was recommended by the town of Bernalillo for termination. Officer Waters, who was hired in September, was terminated, and Officer Lopez Esquivel, who was also hired in September, opted to resign. Now, News 13 had been working on a story about one of those officers, Adelita Lopez, and how she was hired by Bernalillo PD, even though she'd recently been fired from her last job as a police officer.
Ooh.
Here's News 13's Francesca Washington.
Interesting. So hold on, wait. Hold up. Wait a minute. You mean tell me that this officer, where's her name, is Adelita Lopez. Adelita Lopez. I'm very curious. Is there a picture of this woman? I want to know if there's a picture of her. I want to see her face. Let's go look for a picture of her. I want to see what she looked like.
Was fired by Rio Rancho police in December.
I want to see. Let's see. Adelita Lopez police. Let's see. No. Nothing there. Oh, well.
December of 2019. 9 months later, she had a new job. And now 8 months later, she's out of a job again.
Whoa, wait a minute. Did you see that shade? Listen, let's go back here. You see that shade from that black woman? Well, this is how you know a black woman is throwing some shade now. I want you to see this. Right. I want you to see it right here, right? Look.
13's Francesca Washington.
Adelita Lopez was
look at her expression the whole time, right?
Police in December
look at her face.
2019. 9 months later, she had a new job, and now 8 months later,
look at her face.
She's out of a job again.
Ooh.
And yet, during a chaotic scene in October 2019, then Rio Rancho police officer Adelita Lopez admitted to punching the passenger side window after initially lying to her supervisors about it, claiming it was someone else.
How did you hit the window?
I hit it with a fist.
Rio Rancho police responded to our public records request about the incident with videos that blurred out Lopez's face. While she was on duty, Lopez met up with her boyfriend, Nathan Esquivel, who is now her husband, at the Rio Rancho fire station where he works.
We got into a fight.
Lopez told the responding officer things
wait a minute.
quickly.
Where was he?
Wait, no. You mean to tell me her and her now husband, but at the time, then boyfriend, they got into a little bit of a fight. And that's how the window got busted. She claimed someone else busted the window, but it was her. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wow. This is spicy, bro. This is a spicy meatball. You got to admit, this is, listen, you couldn't sprinkle any more razzle-dazzle on that any harder, baby. Look at that. Wait a minute, I gotta hear that again. Holy smokes. I want to hear it again.
Rio Rancho police responded to our public records request about the incident with videos that blurred out Lopez's face. While she was on duty, Lopez met up with her boyfriend, Nathan Esquivel, who is now her husband, at the Rio Rancho fire station where he works.
We got into a fight.
Lopez told the responding officer things escalated quickly.
Where was he at?
So the door was open and I'm here trying to get out and he's standing in front of me.
Lopez says she got a call from dispatch, so she tried to leave.
So basically, she lied to protect her boyfriend and then husband. So do you understand what's happening here? And I'm going to cut away back to the mainstream because I want you to understand what's happening here. What's happening here is that this woman, she's a police officer, so she's going to respond to the domestic violence cases, and she's going to tell young women to report them, report the abusive husband, the abusive boyfriend, the abusive girlfriend. There's some people out there who don't identify as any gender. There's a whole bunch of gender freaking identities, whatever, what have you. But again, she's gonna tell those young women, to report them and be honest and tell the truth. Because if you don't tell the truth, there could be other victims, right? So what kind of example did she just set? What kind of a hypocrite is she now? And what makes it worse is what kind of an idiot then goes on to hire her as a police officer, knowing this. Having this evidence, because you definitely have this evidence, you just blurred it out. Because her face is blurred out on the video, even though it's her. When I see stories like this and see that officers have been fired for lying on the camera, making false reports to protect their loved ones, even though if you did the exact same thing, you go to jail for it, that makes me say loudly and proudly and without regret, all cops are bastards. That's just how I feel, baby. Now you can like it or not like it. Hey, it's all good. You don't make me no damn never mind. You feel me?
But says her boyfriend.
At the end of the day, I gotta be me. I got to be me. Now, there are some other stories that I got to cover. This is gonna be another story that I'm gonna hate covering, but it's got to get covered. These stories have got to be told. They've got to get covered. So let's get into it. All right, so we got another bad cop, no donut for you. This is gonna be another 6'6" story of another police officer who just decides instead of to protect and serve the children, they want to go and touch them. So, ex-Sapd officer sentenced to federal prison after sending explicit photos of children via Snapchat. Sebastian Torres, 27, to serve 8 years in federal prison. So, he's out here exposing himself to children on Snapchat. Unbelievable, man. It's just I'm covering more and more stories like this. Like I just covered a story of a freaking police officer who just got life in prison, 50 years before he's even eligible for parole that he's got to serve, and I'm covering this. I'm covering this in the same day. And yet, whenever I cover a story like this, I will have more people criticizing me for criticizing cops versus going after cops like this, which lets me know they don't give a shit what cops do. They only care that a nigga, a black person, is complaining about it. San Antonio. A former San Antonio police officer who was fired last year for sending explicit photos of children via Snapchat has been sentenced to federal prison. Sebastian Torres, 27, was sentenced Tuesday to 8 years in federal prison, followed by 15 years of supervised release, according to the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office. In February 2020, he pleaded guilty to one count of distribution of obscene visual representations of sexual abuse of children, charges that San Antonio Police Chief William McManus called deeply disturbing. Termination paperwork obtained by KSAT last year showed that Torres sent numerous explicit Snapchat videos of young children being sexually assaulted to another person. Wow, that's disgusting. It's clear he was into it. The police investigated. He was convicted based on this. There's not much to discuss here. He at first sent 8 videos depicting him performing a sex act on himself to a female acquaintance, the document stated. Amid the investigation, he told officers that he was part of group chats that shared content that was sexual in nature. I have been in group chats where it turns into like there's a minor there and it's like, oh, that's too much, and I exit the group chat, he told officers according to the document. McManus said Torres was first placed on administrative leave as a joint investigation with the FBI was launched. Torres was formally terminated in March. At the time of his arrest, he was a 2-year veteran of the force. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. He's been given 8 years, and honestly, I don't understand why he was only given 8 years. I know people who were given more than 8 years, and all they did, back in the day was sell some weed. And I think that you should do more than 8 years. If you are a police officer who did this, you should spend decades behind bars, especially if you are a police officer. I wouldn't say that for a normal citizen, but when people are paying you to serve and protect citizens, and you do something like this, oh no, I want you to go to prison and rot and never get out. Because at this point, in my personal opinion, and you can say what you want, this man is worth less than trash to me. Less than trash. And I feel that way. That's how they treat citizens who get locked up for that, right? And do the crime, do the time. Period. Do the crime, do the time. They always telling us that, right? If you do the crime, you do the time. They always telling us that, right? Well, I believe I'm going to follow their advice for once. The bootlickers. You do the crime, you do the time. Man. All right, we're going to get back into some more stories here. I want to cover quite a few here because I've been slacking a little bit. I know I've been slacking. And I don't want to keep slacking. There's a few stories that I want to cover. There's one major news story I want to cover. Something happening with Marilyn Manson. And we're going to talk about Central Park Karen, but there's a story. I'm going to show you what I'm looking for on the screen here. I'm going to show you what I'm looking for. Show you I'm not just bluffing you. There's a story about Marilyn Manson here. Because I just saw that, and I have to cover this. I gotta cover this. I'm not covering Angelina Jolie. Screw that. Where's the Marilyn Manson story? You know what? I'm just gonna search it. Because Marilyn Manson, I know for a fact Marilyn Manson is he has an arrest warrant out for him right now. Yep. Bam. Bam. There we go. Yeah. Your boy Marilyn Manson, man, he might be in trouble. Your boy Marilyn Manson, he's whew. You gotta get into this. All right, so this is one for the Corrupted Files. It's coming from the Hill. Arrest warrant issued for Marilyn Manson in New Hampshire. Man, things are getting kind of intense for Marilyn Manson right now. He might be in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. This is published on the 26th. So let's get into the story here. And the arrest warrant has been issued for rock musician Marilyn Manson in New Hampshire over an alleged assault at a concert in 2019. The Guilford Police Department said in a statement posted to Facebook on Tuesday that the warrant charges Manson, whose real name is Brian Warner, with 2 counts of simple assault from the incident at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion where Manson was performing. The department said the allegations are not sexual in nature. The alleged incident involved a videographer who was subcontracted by a New Hampshire-based company to record the incident. The videographer was located in the stage pit when the incident occurred. Anthony J. Bean Burpee, chief of the Guilford Police Department, told The Hill in an email that the allegations related to the videographer being spat on. Wow. So this person is saying that Marilyn Manson spat on them, and I'm not sure what how legitimate these claims are. I don't know how legitimate these claims are because it instantly sounds like, was it an accident? Was it intentional? But let's read on here and we might find out. In New Hampshire, that is considered unprivileged physical contact of another. The arrest warrant was issued October 8th, 2019, he said. Manson and his legal counsel have been notified about the warrant several times. Howard King, Manson's attorney, told The Hill in a statement that the allegation was ludicrous, but we remain committed to cooperating with the authorities as we have done throughout. King said it is no secret to anyone who has attended a Marilyn Manson concert that he likes to be provocative on stage, especially in front of a camera. He added that the misdemeanor claim was pursued after the videographer demanded $35,000 over a small amount of spit. After a small amount of spit came into contact with their arm. Wow. So spit came into their arm and now they're asking for $35,000. Oh, okay. All right. Listen, I'm pressing F to doubt. I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. Listen, if a little bit of spit hits your arm, again, if it's not intentional, and again, I would love to know if it was intentional, if it were a part of a show, if he tried to aim for her. But even if it were intentional, okay, I could see him paying a huge fine for that. Maybe give her, a couple of $100. I can see that. But $35,000 and then trying to have the man arrested for that. Okay, you're being a little bit extra. Okay, you're a little extra, girl. Calm yourself down. All right, take a deep breath, bitch. All right, seriously, unbelievable. This is just unbelievable. After we asked for evidence of any alleged damages, we never received a reply, King said. A Class A misdemeanor in New Hampshire is punishable by less than 1 year in jail and a fine of no more than $2,000. The allegation is the latest controversy surrounding Manson. Wow. So again, it is again one of the latest controversies because let's get into that briefly. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office began investigating several allegations of sexual abuse against Manson in February. This came after multiple women, including actress Even Rachel Wood, accused Manson of abuse. Last month, actress Esme Bianca filed a federal lawsuit against Manson alleging abusive behavior. So again, this is just might be some of the latest trouble, but this whole thing with the spit, it just sounds like bullshit. I'm sorry. I can't take this seriously. Come on, man. 35 G's because some spit hit your arm. All right, you being a little extra. Cool your tits, all right? Cool your tits, baby. Seriously. Jesus, like some people, man. The nerve of this bitch. Some people. Damn. Nerve of this bitch, man. Some people. You know, I want to cover that because I thought that was precious. I heard a little bit about what happened there, but I need to read it. I need to read it. So, I think that's a good time to end the stream. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Tune in next time. I'm going to be leaving out some live edits, guys. And until next time, be safe. Don't get sick. Horns up. Peace out. Good night and good luck. Thank you, DZ Bomber, and everybody else for joining me tonight. See you later.